Tell me about the first acting role which made you kind of feel like, one second, this is a moment for me. This is when, because there's a progression, but there's a one piece of, one second, this is something which I'm doing, which is that one step up from towards what I always wanted to do. And how was that experience like?
So I started acting when I was 4. And I'm a theatre baby. I was always doing theatre throughout my childhood. Then in school, I became the president of the theatre club. In Delhi University, I became the president. So theatre was happening. It's when I was in Delhi University, casting folks started noticing me in plays and everything. And I started getting audition calls. At that time, I had no idea what an audition is. And I had no desire to be in a film. Because at that time, I was a theatre snob. कि नहीं theatre असली acting होती है, film तो कुछ नहीं होता. But when I started auditioning, somehow I used to audition and the next day I used to get a call. So that realization that, ये तो मैंने try नहीं किया था, अब मैं try कर रही हूँ, it's converting into something. So then I realized maybe I should give cinema or this side of acting a shot. I got a small, very, very 3-second small stint in Dangal.
Okay.
I'm a reporter in it. I look very different because that time I used to do Nukkad Natak, so I was 10 shades darker because of tan. When I shot that, the director at that time said, you came for 2 seconds, but thank you, you're amazing. And I was like, really? मैंने तो एक dialogue मुश्किल से बोला है, but ठीक है. Then I gave another audition and I got it. It was a short film on YouTube, large barrel short film, Seagram's का. उसमें I won Best Actor Award at Georgia Film Festival. So when small parts were giving me some kind of acknowledgement and appreciation, I was realizing, why do I shit on cinema so much? It's actually very rewarding and I am acting at the end of the day. This little by little, small parts, even though they were like tertiary roles or something, really were adding up. And that's when I decided that I can do acting on the side. But my dad had this thing that you have to finish your education, otherwise you're not going to Bombay. So I finished my master's and then I went to Bombay and I had got a call from Imtiaz Ali's team. And that time I was studying and I was in UK. And the fact that they said that, don't worry, we'll fly you down to India for this role.
Yeah.
Again, I was shocked. I was like, I am no one. I'm not from the industry. How is this happening to me? So I couldn't fathom that this was happening. But again, it was like, मैं UK में हूँ. You're making me fly all the way to Kashmir. You're buying like 3 tickets for me, very expensive ones, for this small role. And I did it. And the first shot I took, my director said, everyone clap for Amreen, which was my character's name. And after that, I went to my vanity van and I started crying. So then this is what was adding up, कि, काम आने दो और करने दो, and try acting, give it a shot. Otherwise, it was just corporate for me at that time when I was in college.
I feel that's what I'm also getting from you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that this wasn't about getting outside validation. It's more about you were almost giving yourself evidence that you can actually do this.
Yeah, right. Because I thought theatre and film are very different. So I thought, theatre I can do, I understand. I said, film I'll never get a chance. I'm nobody, no appreciation, nothing will happen. But then when I witnessed it happening, it's actually it.
Yeah.
I got confidence in myself that, oh my God, this can happen.
And that moment in when actually went to Vanity and cried, I think that's an important one. Because almost like, I feel that we cry in moments like those because we honestly feel like, once again, we're overwhelmed by the fact that this is actually happening, but also the fact that almost like, oh my God, this is actually happening.
Yeah, it was like a catharsis. Yeah. It was like that only. It was like a very pinch me moment.
Yeah.
Then next day I flew back to UK.
And went back to study.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things I always like asking my guests. And one of those things is always the fact that there'll be moments through your journey which would have had highest impact on you. There'll also be pieces of advice from a certain career path that you've chosen that really impact you. One was what you spoke about, what your father said about, scheduling leisure in.
Yeah.
Was there any piece of advice you got on your acting side that stayed with you and like, this is something I'm going to really hold?
Whatever acting advice I have got has been about the craft, about how to act and what method to use and how to utilize that. But in terms of my acting career or how to make choices, nobody's ever helped me, unfortunately or fortunately. Whether it's actors in the field or it's production houses, directors or casting directors, I have never got advice from anyone, which is very strange now that I'm
Yeah.
thinking about
Because
it.
people give advice very like.
ये कर ये कर and everything, but I also feel like this industry, whenever somebody gives you advice, I am very little, I take it
Very.
with a pinch of salt, because I don't know where it's coming from. Is it coming from a good place? Is it coming from authoritative place? Is it coming because I need to do something in return? Is it something because you're offering me something? I always take it with a pinch of salt.
Is an agenda.
There's an agenda, and I feel like that agenda is very, very strong in this industry because I have faced it and my peers have faced it. The only people whose advice I actually take are mentors or friends or family. When I know the person and I know that it's coming from the right space. And I always am open to criticism. If you think I can improve my acting, please give me every advice possible. Where I have been good, tell me so I can continue doing that. So that actually I've got from Jaideep Alawat once, which now I started using. We were doing this very serious scene and we were on the couch looking at each other, and I was anxious that time because it was a very serious scene. So I when I was taking my dialogue, I would look here and there. And he's like, "Ek kaam kar, don't blink throughout. Take your dialogue without blinking, staring at me." I said, "Okay." Once I did that, the director said, "Cut," there was no retake. It was done so nicely, and now I started using it that when you're confused about how to take a line,
Yeah.
don't blink. And whenever I do that, it goes very easily for me.
So absolutely, it makes you really razor focused, right? Now, when you were saying it, I was trying it for a
Yeah, it does.
Because when you blink, you tend to look around. You tend to get distracted. But if you're like full focused, it gets a little hardcore after some time.
It gets intense. Whether it's love, it's intense. Whether it's angry, it's intense. Whatever emotion you're delivering in, that gets highlighted without blinking.
Yeah.
So thanks, Jyoti, for actually sharing that with me.
Oh, that's interesting. Could also be interesting to try. I don't think it's just an acting thing. Imagine if you're having a serious conversation at work.
Yeah.
It could be something you could try. Maybe the intensity
To
of
do
it,
that.
seriousness might show a little bit more.
It does. Other person gets very intimidated
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
क्यों मुझे ऐसे क्यों हो रहा है?
Go right. I'm going to ask you one final question because I think this is a question. I don't know if anyone's asked you this. You do so many things. Is there something you haven't done which you still want to do to add into this mix of multi-hyphenates that you have?
Yeah, I want to do a very classy, cheesy, commercially big Bollywood film, which I haven't been able to crack as of now. And it's so tough to crack a good film, but I don't know, I've tried. A lot of times I've auditioned for something, and then later when the film comes, then already established leading actresses doing it. So you don't feel so bad about yourself. Like, Acha, isi ko gaya tha. That is something that hasn't happened. It's not like I actively haven't done it, that opportunity, or it hasn't worked that way. Another thing that I've been wanting to do since a very long time is be on TV as a travel host. So I know I've covered travel on my social media, but that childhood dream of having my own travel show still hasn't been cracked. Unfortunately, NDTV Good Times, Travel and Living, they're not producing anymore.
For more insights like this, make sure you check out the full episode.